Pull planning, step by step for construction. Last planner made simple. In this video, I'm so excited because I'm going to cover pull planning at a high level, but you will have so much detailed information. I think we're going to blow your mind. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to cover the board that we prepared for you, and then I'm going to show you key clips from a pull plan that's a real live one that I did, and we're going to reference you to our book, Pull Planning for Builders, that you can find on Amazon at the time that you watch this video. It's absolutely amazing stuff. And I do want to just start out by saying pull planning, in my opinion, is best done when you prepare the trades with homework, when you do it digitally, when you have a sticky per day, not batch a bunch of days into one sticky, where you do it by zone, where then you compare zone by zone for diagonal trade flow, and you compare your phase or your pace setting train of trades inside a phase to the end milestone. So let me start out by saying that we have a really neat pull plan board, and let me cover some of the things here that we have on it. This is free to you. Everything that we have here is free. This will show you the resources that are available, the pull planning step-by-step guide, videos that will guide you through how to do it, and additional training. And additionally, over here, this is where you do your work inside the pull plan. All we've said down here with our cute little Pirates of the Caribbean thing is, hey, use it, but make sure you keep our logos with it. But all these boards are available for you. So when you go to do a pull plan, you have segments here where you can do your pre-work, where you can add your zone maps, identify your milestones, allocate stickies, and then come up with the rules of the game. And then we have swim lanes up here with your visuals to go ahead and do your pull plan. It's absolutely phenomenal. So this is available to you at any time. And remember, you need that macro level tack plan end date, sequence, and line of balance if you want to do it right. Now I'm going to show you a video and talk about a couple of key items as we go so that you can see how this is done. All right, so here I have YouTube open, and Ricardo Lozano is helping me over there on the computer, so he's doing a great job. And this is just a screen recording. In fact, you can see, is that Brad? No, that's not Brad Pitt. Sorry, that's Jason. I apologize. This misinformation, I am so sorry about that. That is me, and it was around Christmas time, but this is a real pull plan with trade partners who had never done this before. And I didn't do it perfectly. But it was effective. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do the pull plan. Before this pull plan video, we had sent homework, meaning these are the milestones, this is the pull plan, these are the conditions of satisfaction, this is where it's happening, and this is what we would like to have prepared. Please come prepared with your stickies for this type of zone size. Then they all come, and this was virtual and digital. So we were on Zoom, and I recorded it. And so right now, I'm going to ask Ricardo to hit play a couple times in the video, not yet, but we started out following the rules of pull planning. Let me just say, first of all, that this is in the book Pull Planning for Builders, and it's also described in detail in other videos, which I will link in the description below. But let me just go ahead and hit play, and I'll talk, but you won't see the audio. What I'd like to show you is that the first thing we did was reinforce the conditions of satisfaction, and you'll see in here that I'm adjusting based on any of the input that the last planners have as we're going through this. So the first thing is going over the conditions of satisfaction. The second thing is establishing the rules. Everybody does pull planning differently, so in order to prevent it from being chaos, make sure you go through the rules together and establish them together. Now the second thing after that was we identified in this pull plan, and this pull plan video is just a cut through of me doing it, sticky colors and sticky formats for the pull plan that we're doing. And remember, I like digital. So this is what the activity is going to look like, duration and activity. And then when we do our backwards pass, we're going to say duration, activity, need. That's the format that we're going to hold to. And that's how I want them to interact with the stickies on the board. So we got that cleared up, and that's 100% clear to the group before we begin the pull plan. The other thing that we start to do is we start out with the zoning. I told you that one of the biggest problems that we have in pull planning being taught is that they're just like, take this whole space, take the whole building and pull plan to it. No, 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 no. We need to break out the building and specifically the phase into zones. And we need to pull plan simply zone by zone and then replicate it across that train of trades in a phase. And in this scenario, this is not command and control. We're pushing them in this direction. This is, we came to the meeting prepared with an idea of how many zones we ideally wanted, and now it's a discussion with the trades. So let's go ahead and hit the space bar, Ricardo. So I'm actually going through here, and I won't take you through too much of it, but I'm actually going through here and talking with the trades about the different zoning strategies, and we're going to decide on this together. And as I'm going through and having these discussions, I will also bring up the Kevin Rice tact calculator and show them why it's so important. So if we started with 20 wagons and 3 zones on a 5-day tact time, I'll literally start talking to them about the duration and what would happen if we went through and explored other zoning options. And what will happen eventually is that they will, with the project delivery team, select a new zoning strategy. They'll see the original phase duration in our calculator. They will see the new phase duration based on their optimization. And I will always show them how much time they and the project are gaining. And we will start out with zoning as our first discussion. Once we know our zones and how we as a team together, as a Last Planner team, want to approach this project, I will bring your helper digitally, and you can see we have every day here. We'll bring in the zone that we're talking about. So we're talking about this zone for this pull planning. We're just pull planning that one zone. And what we'll do is Ricardo will go ahead and hit play. And what the trades are doing, and by the way, you'll have this video to watch. You can hear it, make observations. I would encourage you to ask yourself what's happening. But what the trades who are brand new to this process, what the trades are doing is they're declaring their stickies. So I'm like, what is the first activity? It doesn't matter if you go forward or then back, or back and then forward. The forward is what does the job need? The back is what do the trades need? You'll see that in just a minute. But literally this trade partner said, okay, the first thing is layout, and that takes 2 days. You'll see I don't have labor on here because this is a newer group, but you absolutely can. But I'm tailoring this to the experience of the group and being respectful, but they are declaring this. So they declared 2 days for layout, and then it's, okay, what's the next activity? Shoot down track. Okay, that's 2 days. What's the next activity? Framing. That's 6 days. You'll see that we have an activity for every single day, and we are populating this forward. I'm not telling them how much time they have. I'm not telling them what to do. They are declaring their own stickies, even though somebody is digitally controlling this on the board. And we're fleshing out a complete sequence. And I think you'll like what happens next. Once we have a forward sequence for a single zone, we have the second zone, and the reason I like to do it digitally is I've copied this down, and what I want to show you is that I'm talking to the trade partners about the stagger from zone to zone. So if this is a crew or this is a grouping of work, I don't just care how well they do within the zone, I want to see how well they do from zone to zone. So I'm going to have a discussion with them. And actually in this image, I'm saying I don't care too much about this direction. I want to see how they flow in the diagonal. So they're going to start to look at this and their mind's going to expand and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a whole other world and this is advanced from what I'm typically used to doing. So I'm starting to show the crews, hey, this is how you go from one zone to another. Does that work? And they're feeding information back to me and giving me other ideas. For instance, this first crew is like, hey, could we even go a little bit faster than the other successor activities? And I'm starting to talk to them about it. So not only are we looking at the pull plan in one direction, but we're copying it from zone to zone on a stagger, and I'm making sure that this flow works for them. Now, this is where it gets cool. Now that I know that we have a generally acceptable forward pass, I want to do the backwards pass. And I'm going to do it by making sure every trade declares at least 2 of their needs. What I'm doing is working from back to front now. And on each one of these stickies, I'm typing in need and need. And I'm asking them in a very respectful way to declare what they need. And I'll type it in as we go. And they can already be prepared for this, and this is fine. And the point is, I will mark a yes if this need is somewhere in the front part of this pull plan. So fascia, fascia, and I mark it off as yes. And so then I go to fascia and I say, hey, what do you need? And if the sticky is out in front, I will mark it off as yes with a little Y in front of the need. And I'll just keep working that forward. If I ever have one of these needs here that's not over here on the pull plan, it will be added, and we'll just work this entire sequence back until it's exhausted and I know it's complete, we don't have any missing activities out of the sequence, and that it's being done right in the right order. It's absolutely phenomenal. One of the things that I started doing once we've completed the backwards pass is actually just going through and doing a double check of the drawings and basically saying, hey, have we included everything? So this was for the exterior, obviously. We're like, hey, do we have the exterior? Do we have the gutter? Do we have the doors? Do we have the windows? And just do a quick double check to make sure that everything is included. This is something I just started doing at the time of this pull plan. It's really, really cool to make sure we have a complete sequence. And now that we have a complete sequence and we have any missing activities and we've done the forward and backward pass, I will again confirm that their flow in the diagonal is what they need and that we don't have any trade stacking, which is too many trades in one area, or trade burdening, which is one trade in too many areas. And so you can see I'm starting to go through this with them to make sure that we're 100% in a scenario that they can commit to. So we have the sequence, we have all activities, and we have the stagger from zone to zone. And then at the end, I will make sure that all of these, the pull plans, basically the sequences, are copied throughout all the zones. And I will confirm that this end milestone has been hit properly, and if we've done it right, we will have gained buffers. And one thing that I love is that if there's ever an area that we need to go dig into a little bit more, we can highlight it and sidebar it and go make sure that this entire train of trades in a phase works for everybody and that it's been vetted. Now, by the time you're done with this, all of these constraints should have been optimized, meaning the effect of these constraints should be reduced. Let me give you some examples. Lack of preparation. We should be committing to something we can prepare. Varying speeds among trades. If we have varying speeds among trades that bottleneck us, that would need to be fixed. Improper tack time. Is the tack time for the stagger on the zones, is it appropriate? Do we have the correct sequence? Do we have any missing resources? The pull plan did that for us. Wrong number of zones. We figured that out in the calculator. Can you now see that constraints are system designed in the pull plan? By the time you're done with the pull plan, all of these should be optimized. They should be like literally not bottlenecking you. Or if they are, you know about it and it is your most limiting factor, but you've optimized it as much as you can. Now everything after the pull plan will be mainly focused on roadblocks. Isn't this so cool? This is genius. So in the description below, I'll give you this video, the templates, and any other instruction for pull planning, including the book Pull Planning for Builders. But basically, once you have your macro and you now have your trades, you pull plan, you compare it across zones, you hit your milestone, and it's best done digitally by day. Really, really, really cool stuff. Now this will create your production plan. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.